Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something you've definitely seen, probably used, but maybe never really thought about deeply.
Oh, what have we got?
That tall, skinny tube with the lines on it, the graduated cylinder, the workhorse of pretty much any lab.
Yes.
Like,
Absolutely fundamental.
exactly. It's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Seems totally basic. But what if I told you it represents a global market worth billions and it's growing steadily?
Okay, now that is interesting. It's a fantastic lens, isn't it? Something
Yeah.
so simple, yet its market can tell us so much about global trends in research, education, industry.
Precisely. We've got this great market report from Cognitive Market Research, and our mission today is basically to dig into it, pull out the key insights, the surprising bits, and see what this humble cylinder tells us about global science.
Sounds good. Let's dive in.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Globally, get this. The market hit nearly $1.5 billion, specifically $1,257.01 million back in 2021.
Wow, okay.
And it's not stopping there. It's expected to climb to just over $1.68 billion by 2025. And looking further out, by 2033, we're talking nearly $2.24 billion.
That's quite a jump.
It is. It works out to a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of about 3.65% over that whole period.
And what's fascinating here, really significant, is that even for such a basic foundational tool, you're seeing consistent measurable growth worldwide.
Yeah.
It's not just a blip. That steady climb suggests something bigger, right? It points to, well, a widespread expansion in research, maybe more students in STEM, ongoing industrial demand.
Pharmaceuticals to food science, yeah.
Exactly. The engines of innovation, they're not just ticking over, they're actually gaining strength.
That's a great way to think about it, like
Yeah.
taking the pulse of global science one cylinder at a time. Okay, so that's the big picture. But where is this growth happening? Let's take a trip around the world region by region. I think you'll find some surprises.
Definitely. Because the regional picture is rarely uniform, is it? Different areas, different growth rates, different reasons behind it all, investment, manufacturing shifts, education. It's complex.
Right. Let's kick things off in North America, a really substantial market, as you'd probably guess.
The sense, established base.
Yep. In 2021, it was worth over $581 million, and it's projected to grow to almost $860 million by 2033. That's a CGR of about 3.2%. Pretty steady.
Okay.
Now, within North America, the U.S. is obviously the giant. It accounted for over $471 million in 2021.
The lion's share, yeah.
And it's set to approach $700 million by 2033, growing at about 3% annually.
So solid, but maybe not explosive growth there.
Exactly. But interestingly, it's not just the U.S. Canada's actually showing a bit more momentum.
Huh?
Yeah, its CGR is higher, almost 4.3%. It's going from around $73 million to over $116 million. And Mexico, too, a healthy 3.8% CGR, moving from about $37 million to over $58 million.
So while the U.S. anchors it, Canada and Mexico are picking up the pace a little bit.
Precisely.
Which points to that stable, sustained growth you see in a mature market.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. has vast research infrastructure, pharma, universities, that drives constant demand. But those slightly higher rates in Canada and Mexico, that's interesting. Maybe more local R&D investment, new manufacturing, or maybe, a bigger push in STEM education.
Could be. You wonder what specific sectors might be driving it there.
Well, yeah. Canada's been putting money into AI, biotech, clean energy, all lab-intensive fields.
Right.
And Mexico's growing as an advanced manufacturing hub, even some pharma production. So these national strategies, they definitely feed into demand for basic lab gear.
Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe, another major player.
Absolutely. Big market, too.
Over $418 million in 2021 and projected to hit nearly $625 million by 2033. The CAGR there is just over 3.3%. Similar overall to North America, really.
Okay, steady again.
But, and here's where it gets really interesting, the picture within Europe is much more varied. It's not uniform growth at all.
Ah, okay. Nuanced time.
Exactly. You've got countries like France showing stronger growth, over 4% CAGR, moving from roughly $58 million towards $92 million. Italy's also pretty strong, close to 3.7% growth. But then you compare that to slightly lower rates in, say, Germany or the UK.
Yeah.
Still growing, but not quite as fast.
So different dynamics within the major economies.
Right. But the real head turner, the unexpected star, it's the rest of Europe category.
Yeah. The smaller economies bundled together.
Yep. That segment showed the highest growth rate in the region, an amazing 4.74% CAGR. It went from just over $100 million in 2021, and is heading towards nearly $170 million by 2033.
Wow. Okay, so if we connect that to the bigger picture, that's really telling, isn't it?
It is.
It means that while the big players are growing steadily, a lot of the momentum is coming collectively from these other smaller European nations.
A distributed growth.
Exactly. It suggests a really broad base of scientific activity isn't just concentrated in Germany or France. Many countries are investing, maybe building new capabilities in research, manufacturing, education.
It paints a picture of a healthier, more diverse scientific ecosystem across the continent, maybe.
I think so. It's a collective push forward, not just a few traditional powerhouses leading the way.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Okay, now let's pivot. Asia Pacific, a region we know is a major engine for global growth.
And the numbers here should reflect that, you'd think.
They certainly do. The market was valued over $275 million in 2021, expected to climb to nearly $455 million by 2033. That's a strong CAGR, over 4.4%.
Right. Noticeably higher than North America or Europe overall.
Definitely. Now, China, no surprise, leads the pack here, going from about $79 million towards $126 million. That's nearly a 4% CAGR.
Solid.
Japan's right behind, very similar growth rate actually, also around 4%, hitting almost $90 million by 2033.
Okay, the giants are strong.
But the really high growth stories, the ones that kind of jump off the page, India and Singapore.
Ah, okay, let's hear it.
India is showing fantastic momentum. It's growing from roughly $39 million to almost $70 million, the CAGR there, nearly 5.2%.
Wow, over 5%. That's significant.
And Singapore, too. Smaller market overall, sure, but growing incredibly fast, from nearly $10 million to over $17 million. That's a CAGR of almost 5% as well.
Incredible. So this raises a key question, doesn't it? What does that kind of rapid growth in India and Singapore tell us?
What's driving it?
Exactly. What's happening with their research, their manufacturing, their education infrastructure? For India, you have to think about things like the Make in India initiative, right? Boosting local pharma, biotech.
Yeah, building up R&D labs, manufacturing.
Precisely. And Singapore. It's pushing hard to be a global hub for high-tech manufacturing R&D in complex areas like, say, cell therapy, medical tech.
Fields that need really precise lab work.
Absolutely. So these numbers, they're not just abstract figures. They're basically tracking these ambitious national development plans playing out in real time.
Let's keep moving. South America, another region showing really significant promising growth.
Okay, what are we seeing there?
Valued just under $100 million in 2021, expected to reach over $166 million by 2033. That's a strong CAGR again, almost 4.6%.
So similar pace to Asia-Pacific overall. Interesting.
Within the continent, Brazil's the biggest piece, naturally, growing from about $31 million to over $50 million, about a 4.2% CAGR.
Right.
But check out Argentina. Really strong momentum there, projected to go from around $13 million to nearly $23.5 million. That's a CAGR over 5.1%.
Even faster than India.
Yeah. And just like in Europe, that rest of South America segment also showing very strong collective growth, nearly 5% CAGR, rising from close to $40 million towards $69 million.
You know, these South American figures really highlight the dynamism there. It's a region maybe sometimes overlooked in science development terms, but that strong growth, especially in Argentina and the rest of the group, it points to a rapidly evolving scientific landscape, probably driven by more investment, in universities, local pharma production.
Aiming for more self-sufficiency, perhaps.
Could be. And maybe more industrial uses needing lab work. It suggests a real push towards greater scientific capability and innovation within those economies.
Yeah.
It's genuinely exciting to see.
It really is. It makes you wonder about the specific policies maybe driving this across the continent.
Well, you do see trends like more public-private partnerships boosting R&D, efforts to widen access to higher ed in science and tech fields.
Which creates demand for labs.
Directly. And strategic investments in sectors like agrobiotech or natural resources, which need strong analytical labs.
Okay, quick stop now in the Middle East. A smaller market overall compared to the others, showing more modest but still consistent growth. It was just over $55 million in 2021, projected to reach nearly $74 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of about 2.25%.
So lower overall growth there.
Lower overall, yes, but there are specific pockets. The UAE, for example, stands out a bit. It's moving from about $5.5 million towards $8 million. That's a healthier 3.3% CAGR.
And even with that lower regional average, the UAE example shows how targeted growth can still happen, right? It connects to their national plans.
Diversifying away from oil.
Exactly. Investing in healthcare, education, tech, all needing modern labs, research facilities. So even in smaller markets, you can see these deliberate strategic investments boosting scientific capacity.
So we've toured the globe. We've seen steady giants, fast movers, targeted strategies. But what does it all mean when you put the pieces together?
Where does it lead us?
Well, let's wrap up the regional analysis with what might be the most striking, maybe the most unexpected finding in this whole report: Africa.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for this one.
This continent is actually positioned as the strongest global growth driver for graduated cylinders.
The strongest, really.
Seriously, listen to this. From just under $28 million in 2021, Africa's market is projected to more than double, hitting over $60 million by 2033.
Wow.
The CAGR, over 7.3%. That is the highest of any region we've talked about.
7.3%. That's phenomenal growth.
It is, and within Africa, you see impressive numbers. Nigeria, growing from around $5.2 million to over $11 million. That's almost a 7% CAGR. South Africa, nearly identical pace, almost 7% CAGR, going from about $9 million to over $19 million.
Strong growth across key economies, then.
And again, the rest of Africa segment, it's absolutely booming. The highest CAGR in the whole report, over 7.6%, surging from about $13.5 million towards $31 million. These numbers are just huge in percentage terms.
This is truly the standout takeaway, isn't it? That incredible growth across Africa,
Yeah.
with some countries pushing towards double-digit rates for this basic tool.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful indicator. Undeniable, really. It signals burgeoning scientific research, expanding healthcare systems, major industrial development happening right across the continent.
It really challenges perceptions.
Completely. It challenges where we often assume the big scientific and economic progress is happening.
Yeah.
It highlights massive emerging opportunities there. It speaks to a future where if African nations are increasingly driving innovation and growth.
Yeah.
And this simple lab tool,
Yeah.
it's reflecting that whole trajectory, predicting that future of, self-sufficiency and scientific leadership.
It's just incredible, isn't it? How this humble, everyday object tells such a huge global story. So just to wrap up the main trend we've seen.
The big picture.
While the mature markets, North America, Europe, they provide that steady, solid base.
Consistent growth.
It's really the emerging economies, Asia Pacific, South America, and especially Africa, that are driving the faster, more dynamic expansion. They're the real engines for future growth in this market.
And that's the so what, right? That's the key takeaway. A simple graduated cylinder. Something you probably haven't thought about since school.
Probably not.
It actually works as this surprisingly accurate barometer for global scientific and economic development. Its growing market signifies more labs, more educational focus, more advanced industry, all happening worldwide.
It's a tangible sign of progress.
Exactly. A reflection of a global push for more research, better education, stronger industries.
Yeah.
Basically a future being built on science and local innovation, measured out 1 milliliter at a time.
Who knew graduated cylinders could be so revealing about the global economy? It's been a really surprising deep dives today. It just shows how even niche topics can unlock these big global patterns if you look closely.
Absolutely fascinating stuff drawn from that cognitive market research report.
Thanks so much for joining us on this exploration.
My pleasure. It was great connecting the dots.
And before we sign off, here's a final thought to chew on. What other seemingly mundane foundational things, maybe specialized sensors, industrial catalysts, heck, even the nuts and bolts holding things together, what else might be quietly signaling these huge shifts in global innovation, infrastructure, and progress that we just don't notice?
Good question.
Think about those invisible components. They're actually the essential building blocks for everything else, for our collective future. Something to ponder. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.